All right. Welcome back to the channel. Vasyl Lomachenko is, man, kind of disrespectful to Teofimo Lopez, and it looks like Bob Arum is getting ready to throw Teofimo Lopez up underneath that bus after this fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. Let's talk about the fact that Vasyl Lomachenko says Teo ain't fought nobody, and Bob says no rematch clauses at Top Rank. What a lie. But let's talk about it in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, every great boxer has his first great fight. You have to beat somebody in the ring before people know that you're great. But the person that beats the great fighter is the same person when he was in the locker room before he walks out. When he gets done beating the great fighter and he goes back to that locker room, he's still the same guy, but there's a different aura around him because of his accomplishments, right? That is not to say that there are not a lot of very, very good fighters that have the potential to be great, but in the way that boxing works is that not everybody gets an opportunity to prove that. Teofimo Lopez, fortunate for him and his father and his family and his career, is not one of those guys. He has the opportunity to prove that he's great, and he has the opportunity to prove it against Vasyl Lomachenko, who many people believe is the greatest fighter in the world right now. So at the end of it, he will be able to address one way or the other what it is that Vasyl Lomachenko said about him, which was, hey man, I don't know how good this guy is. He looks like he's got good power, he's got fast hands, he's a smart guy, he looks like he's got good ring IQ, but how do I know? He ain't never fought anybody. What's he gonna do when he gets under pressure? When I start walking to him, when I start putting this on him, when I start putting that on him, is he gonna fold? I don't know, because he's never been put up against the pressure, right? And that is very fair from Vasyl Lomachenko's standpoint. Now, Bob Arum, on the other hand, is full of it. Completely and utterly full of it. In the middle of this conversation, a obviously knowledgeable writer asked a question to Vasyl Lomachenko, and Bob Arum cut across him and asked him. And he said, hey, we've heard that there's no rematch clause in this fight, right? Now, is it unusual? I can't tell you. But there have been times because this is for a 3-belt fight, right? So in the case of we just got a fight like this, where Jermell Charlo had Jason Rosario, and now Jason Rosario lost the fight. Jason Rosario doesn't have a rematch clause, right? With Jermell Charlo. It does happen, right? There's other circumstances. I remember that when Sean Porter, my understanding is when Sean Porter fought Kell Brook, the reason why we never saw that fight happen again was because for some inexplicable reason, Sean Porter didn't have a rematch clause. It's like, if you had a champion and you care about the champion and it's a voluntary fight, why wouldn't you put a rematch clause in there? Now, Bob Arum, I can understand why from Bob Arum's point of view, why he wouldn't want to do it, because he's like, look, man, I want to make the decision about what fight happens next. I'm not going to be, Teofimo Lopez isn't going to give him another shot at Vasyl Lomachenko if Vasyl Lomachenko dusts him off. You know what I mean? And if Vasyl Lomachenko can't demand another fight, if I want to take Teofimo Lopez up to 140 pounds and let Gervonta Davis and Vasyl Lomachenko fight, and I can cash out Vasyl Lomachenko that way. The lack of a rematch clause in this particular circumstance works to the benefit of Bob Arum. How not to the benefit of either fighter, okay? Either fighter. Because Teofimo Lopez versus Vasyl Lomachenko, the rematch, if there's a rematch clause there, that doesn't hurt Vasyl Lomachenko, even if he does beat him. Because that just means he got to beat him again. And who else is Vasyl Lomachenko going to move on to fight at 147? Devin Haney? Would love to see it. But since you ducked him the first time, I don't have any faith that you're not going to duck him the second time. You know, but anyway it goes. there is a reason that it could be reasonable not to have a rematch clause in this circumstance. What is not reasonable is that Bob Arum is saying that he never does it. The explanation that Bob Arum gave was absolutely horse pucky. He said, we don't believe in rematch clauses. Yes, you do. What do you mean you don't believe in something that you do on a regular basis? Manny Pacquiao versus Tim Bradley had a rematch clause protecting Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn had a rematch clause protecting Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao. Because it said if there's a rematch, if Manny loses, Jeff Horn's got to give him an immediate rematch. But the rematch has to be in Brisbane. Manny Pacquiao decided not to exercise his rematch clause. In order to decide not to exercise your rematch clause, you have to have a rematch clause. So, Bob, where is this nonsense? Why do you say you don't believe in something that you do on a regular basis? Tyson Fury is fighting a rematch against Deontay Wilder. If Tyson Fury had lost to Deontay Wilder in February, guess what Tyson Fury would be doing? He would be fighting Deontay Wilder again. Why? Because Bob Arum, Tyson Fury, and Frank Warren insisted on a rematch clause for Tyson Fury, even though he wasn't a champion. In a voluntary, Tyson Fury had a rematch clause. So it seems to me that Bob Arum believes in rematch clauses. So why don't you believe in a rematch clause when it comes to Teofimo versus Vasyl Lomachenko? Because the rematch clause does not provide Bob Arum with any value. Because if Teofimo Lopez has a rematch clause, that means Bob Arum doesn't get to do whatever it is Bob Arum wants to do in his next fight because he has to make that fight again. Same thing for Vasyl Lomachenko. And it is amazing the logic that people use when they are doing things that are completely and utterly self-serving. If I'm Vasyl Lomachenko, why wouldn't I want a rematch clause? Nah, Bob, I need a rematch clause. Don't worry, Vasyl. No need to get a rematch clause, Vasyl, because he's gonna sign it because he doesn't have anywhere else to fight. He doesn't have anywhere else to fight. What else is he gonna do, Vasyl? I don't care what he's gonna do, Bob. He's gonna give me a rematch clause, so you're gonna put that crap on a piece of paper. Write rematch clause on the piece of paper, man, and send it back. I'll see it, dog, okay? I thought we worked with each other, Bob. I thought you were out here to protect me. I could turn my knee, it could blow up, I could lose, and I could never get another shot at my titles, but I have the ability just to write down on this piece of paper that and fix it ahead of time. Man, put that on that piece of paper, man. Stop playing with me. You know what I mean? That's the conversation they could have with Bob Arum, but Bob Arum doesn't want it because Bob Arum is being self-serving. Just like Steve Kim and ESPN, when they write about Terrence Crawford's fights, are being self-serving. This is unfair to Teofimo Lopez. And if I was Teofimo Lopez, I would ask for the rematch clause. I would ask for it if I was Vasyl Lomachenko. Trusting Bob's logic on this is just putting Bob Arum in a great position. But as far as how the fight goes, and Teofimo and Vasyl saying, "Hey man, I don't know how he's gonna go. Who did he beat?" Look, man, weakest argument in all of boxing, but I know Vasyl Lomachenko knows better. I know he's just kind of like, man, I got to see the guy in the ring with me. Yeah, I don't think he's being completely disrespectful of the guy, but the argument in and of itself is kind of like, so what? Because at a certain point in time, everybody's got to beat somebody. You know, Tyson Fury, who can't stand, who did he beat before he beat before he beat Vladimir Klitschko, right? Who did Vasyl Lomachenko beat? Period. You know what I'm saying? Period. But whoever it is you think was a good fight for him, like Nicholas Walters, like, dude, it's amazing how great a fighter Nicholas Walter is with people that, you know, didn't have any respect from Nicholas Walters before and ain't seen Nicholas Walters since. But for that 2 seconds in time that he was in, you know, for that 1 hour, less than 1 hour, he was in the ring with Vasyl Lomachenko. Oh man, he was a world beater that night. Or he used to be a world beater before that night. And then after that night, he was always a bum before that night. These guys' logic is just crazy. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think, man. Should Vasyl Lomachenko give Teofimo Lopez a rematch clause? Does it really make a difference? What do you think is going to happen in the fight? I think Teofimo Lopez got a chance to knock this dude out, man, and it could be very, very ugly. So anyway, that's my take. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace, and thank you guys so much for the support.